Hi everyone and welcome to the Pip and Pin Podcast. My name is Megan Nodecker and I'm a knitwear designer from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. You can find me on Instagram as Pip and Pin, on Ravelry as Knit Pip and Pin, and in the Ravelry group, which is Pip and Pin, on our website, which is Pip and Pin. All the links, as usual, will be down in the description box below. Hi, this is a knitting podcast. This is the first regular episode that I'm recording since being on a bit of a hiatus over the summer. I have a 6-year-old daughter, if you are new, and her name is Georgia, and she just started going back to school. Of course, she was off school since about March. Got a little bit in June there, so things were just getting, you know what? I don't need to go into this stuff. You already know it all. The world went crazy. I took a break. And now we're back. Anyways, it's September 18th, and this is episode 60. So welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you are returning. I'm so happy that you are able to join me today. Quick note before anything else happens. This is a new phone that I'm using to record on. So hopefully it works out. I feel like it'll be fine. But if anything goes a little haywire, it's a learning. I just got it a couple days ago, so it's brand new. And I'm also not used to seeing myself. Usually I kind of film blind, so I'm not used to like having to not look at myself. Anyways, enough with the excuses. That's not what you're here for. You're here to talk about some knitting, and so am I. So the first thing is I have a new knit along that I just started this morning. I had kind of asked for a suggestion in the last episode that I filmed about, what kind of things you would like to do for knit along, and someone suggested a mitten knit along, and I thought that was a great idea. So I'm hosting the hand knits knit along, and it is for mittens or fingerless gloves or both, whatever you want to do. You can do as many entries as you want. This is going to go until November 2nd. And you can use any mitten or fingerless glove pattern. Doesn't matter the weight, doesn't matter the size. They can be kids, adults, fingerless, super bulky, fingering weight, whatever you want to do. Any pattern, any yarn, any designer. As usual with the knit-alongs we run, though, if you do want to use a Pip and Pin pattern, you do get double entries in the finished objects thread. Also, all of our mitten patterns and fingerless glove patterns, which honestly we don't have a ton. I think there's 5, 6 maybe. They're all 15% off for the duration of the knit along. So I will make sure I put a link to the chatter thread below, as well as I made a bundle of all of our mitten patterns. Works in progress are allowed as long as they are 50% or less. So if you have one finished mitten and you just need to finish the second one or start the second one, that's okay. If you have like 2 mittens that you just kind of need the thumbs for, you maybe save that for, maybe don't enter that one. But yeah, so that is the new knit along that I'm hosting over in our Ravelry group. There's also a Katie and I, she's the other half of Pip and Pin. We've really started to focus on our newsletter quite a bit, our email newsletter, and we are starting to do a monthly one, and it comes out just once a month. It has a little bit of information about what's new and things that are inspiring us, and just different things that we've been thinking about or looking at or being inspired by over the past month. And so we are trying to get people to sign up for it. I'll put a link for it down below. And there's also a, if you do sign up for the newsletter, you will get a copy of our Rainforest Knits ebook. And that is a book that we released last year. It's 3 patterns. They're all kind of similar and interchangeable. Yeah, so if you do feel like you would like to sign up for our newsletter, it'll be once a month, and then usually there's 2 or 3, maybe that many, sprinkled in between those ones, just for things like shop updates, and which, I mean, we don't really have a shop, or special events or things like that, that are a little more time sensitive. There will be a smattering of those in between as well, but we're not going to be sending things out every day or anything like that. So yeah, if you use the link in the description box, you can sign up for our newsletter and get a copy of Rainforest Knits for free. I'm going to jump right into some knitting stuff, because I am not going to go over everything that I've done over the past 3 months. I know I just kind of did a quick glance at my last episode show notes and kind of went off that. I know there was a live episode that I did with Sam of Hand Me My Knitting, but I don't really remember what I talked about. So I'm just going based off of my last one and really only showing the things that I'm kind of currently working on. Yeah, so for finished objects, you may have seen this before. This is the Bells Cardigan. This is actually a brand new pattern, just released it yesterday. You can use the code, which one do I have here? CatBells. Use the code CatBells. You can get 20% off until September 24th. This is knit in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the Artifact colorway, which is this beautiful deep green with little flecks of, there's like blue and black, and then this really poppy chartreuse. I love this yarn a lot because it's woolly and squishy, but it's woolen spun. So it's also super light to wear. In the climate I'm in, we get cold winters, but not super, super cold. So like layering is for me, especially, I run hot anyways, so layering is a very big part of my life, which is also why I really love the stitch pattern on the body here. It's like a garter lace, so it's squishy, has a little bit of like holy details, so it's just a really nice kind of light layer, but is also just super, super cozy. So I think I'm going to stand up and show you a little more of the cardigan and some of the details of it. So I thought I would be able to show you all of it, but it's quite long, as you can see. It hits me about, let's see if I can back up even a little more. Hits me about mid-thigh, almost to my knee, which is exactly what I wanted. There's no closures, it's just open, and you have that garter texture all the way throughout the body. It's a simple, just drop shoulder construction, top down, and then it has these giant patch pockets on the front. You're not going to be doing much purling when you knit it, because the body is garter stitch flat, which is all knitting. And then the sleeves are knit in the round in stockinette, which is again, all knitting. So really the only purling you're going to be doing is in this little section here for the pocket and on your cuffs and this little bit for your ribbing. Now for the edging, which is, this is one of my favorite things. I mean, I designed this, of course, so I'm a little biased, but one of my favorite things is the edging. Instead of having you pick up stitches along the entire, I think it would be something like 60 inches, maybe more, of probably 60 or 70 inches around the band here. Instead of having you pick up and knit a band, I just used some slip stitches along the edge. So you're actually just creating a very nice edge as you knit it. Because it's garter stitch again, it's not going to roll, it's not going to do anything funny. Yeah. So this is it. So that is the Bells Cardigan. If it does look a little familiar, it's because it is based on the Bells sweater that I designed last fall. It was the orange pullover sweater. It has the same stitch pattern as this. So I really, really loved that sweater, and I just wanted to do something a little bit different with it. Yeah, so you can get it on Ravelry, you can get it on our website. You can use the code CATBELLS and get 20% off. For finished objects, I do have a few that I finished since the last time, but this was one of them. The CATBELLS was one of them. I also finished my sun cardigan, but I did show that last time, so I'm not gonna dig that one out again. One thing that I didn't show you is a sweater that I finished for Georgia. I was talking about starting it, but I finished it. So this is Georgia's So Faded pint sized. It's a fingering weight sweater designed by Andrea Mowry. And it's just a plain stockinette sweater that's faded. And so Georgia helped me pick out the colors that she wanted, and I love them. I want a sweater in these colors. I think it's so cute, and I love the white collar and the big giant band on the bottom. I finished it I finished it maybe a month ago, and it's been much too hot to even attempt wearing it. I think I got pictures the same day I did the pictures for this, and and I took some pictures of Georgia in this. That was the last cool day that we had, and that was about 2 months ago or something. So she actually hasn't had a chance to wear this. And I was just thinking, that makes me nervous because we went school shopping 2 weeks before school started. So maybe 3 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago that we went school shopping, and I found her some pants and some jeans. We couldn't buy any jeans in the girls section because her legs are too long, and anything she tried on was already an inch too short. So we went to the boys section, found some pants that actually fit her, and then bought them. Went to try them on for school like 3 days ago, and they're already starting to get too short. So I'm gonna have to go back and get another pair in a bigger size. But like, she just grew, I think she grew 2 inches over the summer, all in the legs. So I'm assuming legs and arms might be kind of similar. And I did knit this oversized because kids do grow. So I hope I'm gonna have to try it on her when she gets home from school. But I'm pretty sure, I hope it'll still fit. Anyways, the yarns that I've used here, this top one is Hedgehog Fiber Sock in Teacup. I think there's a little pink mini skein kind of in between these two colors. This middle one is Lichen and Lace in their superwash fingering base in Faded Rose. And then this bottom is Flock Fiber Take a Hike Sock in Peach Pit, which I love this colorway so much. Yeah, so that is the finished So Faded pint size. I would recommend this pattern. I don't think I swatched or did anything. I just kind of put it on some needles and knit it. Oh, one thing that did have to happen is we picked a different color for the top. It was like this pink color, pale pink for the top, but it was quite muddy. Like, if you look at these two bottom colors, they're light, but they're kind of crisp and they're clean. And the one that we had at the top was just a little bit like muddy, but not in a bad way. Just didn't go with these two. So I actually, when I finished the sweater, because it's top down, you can see here my raglan kind of changed. That's because I actually cut the top of the sweater off and then reknit from here up using this little mini skein and then the hedgehog for the thing there. And I'm much happier with that than I was with the other pink. So yeah, I don't think I really even finished. No, just this one, my sun cardigan, this guy. And I'm pretty sure that's all that I finished. But I've been working on lots of other stuff. I finished lots of things, and then I probably cast on everything else. Again, I'm not going to show you everything that I cast on. I'm just going to show you the stuff that I've been working on. So I've kind of like been splitting my knitting into work knitting and like personal knitting. So not just knitting for myself, but like for my family and things like that. And I feel like it's been working really well. So the weekdays I knit for work, and then the weekends I knit for personal. And I don't know, I really like it's a good system. It's keeping me interested in the things that I'm working on. I'm not getting bored, and like the weird parts, because usually my problem is I'll knit through something, especially when I'm working on a design. I'll knit through something and then it'll come to a point where I like have to do some math, or I have to figure something out, or I just even have to like write down 3 sentences of instructions about what I'm doing. But that'll like really put a stop to it. But if I have a system of like, okay, this is when I'm working on this, so if I'm at this step, I have to do the next step. I can't just switch projects so easily. So I do have one thing that's kind of floating, because I mean, I have knit nights on Tuesday, and sometimes I can't bring what up, sometimes it just doesn't work out exactly how it should, because I have 2 sweaters on the go, so I needed something else that wasn't a sweater. So I have 1 work, 1 personal, and 1 kind of floater. So I'll start with, I'm going to start with my work knitting. It's almost done, actually. I'm very, very excited. The yarn that I'm using, it's a merino and mohair blend. And I know that because I can feel it. But other than that, I don't actually know what it is. I got it somewhere and wound it up right away and lost all the ball bands. So I don't actually know what this is, but because it's going to be for a pattern, I'm going to do some research and find some similar colorways and things like that. So don't worry, I will definitely have some suggestions of yarns that you can use, even if it's not the specific one that I'm using. I feel like that's okay. Anyways, on to what I'm working on. It is this beautiful gold thing. I can't see. Usually I have my computer and I can kind of see what I'm doing while I'm doing it, but I can't now. It looks giant because it is. This is going to be very similar to the Mema cardigan, another one of my designs, which is an open front, very loose cardigan, wide sleeves, just kind of a throw on top of what you're wearing thing, which is the theme of my life. And yeah, so it's just going to be a big oversized thing, big oversized gold thing. I did base this directly on the Mema because I had a lot of people who are intimidated by brioche stitch. And I understand that brioche stitch can be a little scary because the Mema has like a honeycomb brioche on the front and back panel, which I heard it described as like a half brioche. So it's not even real brioche, it's pretend brioche. But some people were, that's what was holding them back. So I wanted to make another option of just a more plain stockinette. I did add a little mock cable. It's not even a real cable, even a little detail there on the raglan increases. And then my favorite little detail is under the arm, of course, where nobody can see it. But this little section here, this little, just a fun little chart that, I don't know. I think things like that are my favorite things to do. Just adding those special little details that, I don't know, it's just my favorite. How can I make this weird thing work and look really nice, basically? And then it comes down to a split hem, a little bit high-low. And again, it's just gonna be open. There's not gonna be any buttons or anything. And that's what it's gonna be. I don't know when it's coming out, but I want this to be done by next week. the end of next week. Because we're going away and I want to take pictures when we're away, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So this doesn't have a name yet, but right now I'm calling it my Mayma-ish cardigan. So for the personal knitting that I'm working on on the weekends, I'm making a 4th Gramps cardigan. I've made Georgia 3 of these. 3 or 4? Maybe this is my 5th. I don't know. I've made her lots of Gramps cardigans. Gramps is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. Oh, sorry, I'm all clicky. Let me fix this first. I'm just gonna take this off. There we go. Sorry. Okay. So Gramps is a cardigan pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's like a, just a grandpa cardigan. It has a shawl collar and buttons and all sorts of different things. And I am making this one not for Georgia. This one's gonna be for my husband. So this is the start of it, or the whole body almost. I just have to finish binding off about half of the front. I'm not showing this well at all, I'm sorry. So I just have to finish binding off this, and then the front will be done, and then I just have the sleeves to do. So I decided I wanted to get the collar over with. I remember from knitting, even knitting the small sizes, you think, oh, you know, the collar, it's fine. No, the collar takes a really long time because it goes all the way up and around, and then you have all these short rows which make your lovely shawl collar to do, which looks really lovely, but they take forever. The yarn that I'm using for this one is also, if it looks familiar, Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. This yellow is called Yellowstone, and this one is Barn Owl. And yeah, every year he cons me into making him a sweater. I'm like, no, you get one sweater every 2 years. And then he's like, yeah, I don't need any. You make me amazing sweaters, you know. And then he'll just start talking about something. And then I'll get excited with him, and then we'll start planning it. And I'm like, oh, you know what yarn would be great for that? And then we'll just like look and find and buy. And then it's like, oh, I'm knitting you a sweater. It's just kind of how it happens. But he is the most knit-worthy person that I've ever knit for. The first sweater I ever made was actually for him, and he wore it every single day until he got too big for it. Like, this was 7 years ago. So he grew out of it a little bit, but he wore it, I think, every day for 2 years. And then I made him a Henley a couple years ago, and yeah, he still wears that one all the time. It's a little, you know, it needs some love. It needs to get pushed back into shape a bit, but he's worn that one straight. And I've made him a couple other sweaters that don't get as much wear, but that's because they're a little more specific. I think he's gonna wear this one every single day as well. He says, oh, it's just gonna be an at-home sweater, but I know he's lying. Anyways, the third project I want to show you is kind of my floating project. This is just kind of what I work on when I don't really want to work on either of those two, or can't for some reason. And this is a hat. This is the Ironwood Hat, and it is one of my own patterns. The yarn I'm using here is Union Fiber DK in Misunderstood, and it's just some leftovers that I had from a project. And I weighed my leftovers to see how much I had, and I have exactly enough for what the pattern says. So hopefully I wrote a good pattern and I will actually be okay with the scraps that I have. And if you look on the inside, there's like ends, and like when I say scraps, I mean scraps. I mean, there's little balls that I just joined all together into one kind of bigger ball. I just found this little extra bit in one of my drawers, but I made like a big ball with all these scraps that were just kind of around. And this is actually going to be for last year. One of my friends had asked for a hat, and I said sure, because hats are fun and easy. And then a couple weeks ago, he's good friends with my husband, so he texted him. He said, "Hey, can you tell Megan that it's my birthday soon?" So I think that was a hint for me to actually finish his hat. And he said something gray or black. And I was wearing this hat. I was wearing my red one when I talked to him. So I just said, well, try this one on and tell me what you think. And he liked the fit of it. So this is what he gets. I actually bought different yarn. It has red hair all over it. I bought different yarn for it, but I just don't think that it was more of kind of a woolly yarn. I just don't think it would have shown the pattern as well. And I don't know, I just really wanted to knit with this, except now that I see it, I'm like, ooh, I want a black one. Like, that just looks so nice. So I might be buying some more black yarn to make my own black hat. It's not the most fun to knit, but it looks really good. And because it's like it's a hand-dyed yarn, you can see it's, oh, is that gonna focus? Maybe. There we go. It is slightly tonal, so there's a little bit of brown in there, and it kind of has a reddy undertone, which is also nice. So yeah, those are kind of the 3 things that I'm working on. I have some other stuff. There's a thing that I've been working on that is in timeout, so I'm not going to show you that. And some socks, but I haven't been knitting socks lately, so I'm just going to stick with those guys, and as I begin to work on more things, I'll kind of pop them in. I don't want to overwhelm you or myself with all the stuff. Things that I've gotten in the mail. I've been getting tons. I've been ordering lots of yarn, specifically from Canadian dyers for an event thing that I'm putting together, and hopefully, you know, so because before I was doing kind of the mini skein swap thing, so a new mini skein thing is coming, and I'm putting it together. I think I'm aiming for late October, early November, because yeah. I don't want to say too much about it. It's going to be mini skeins, Canadian dyers, sometime October, November. I'm very excited. There's also like some other things coming. I'm very excited about these things that I'm making. And I don't even know why I was talking about it, because I really am not giving you any information at all, except for I've been getting beautiful yarn in the mail that I'm not going to show you. I did get a lovely gift in the mail as well. And this is from Cookston Crafts. And here's the card there. And this is Claire. And she sent me some beautiful yarn. This is her 4-ply sock fingering. It's a 75/25 in the Outlander colorway. And I love this so much. All I want to do, I have a pair of self-striping socks on the needles that I just want to finish, but I don't actually want to work on. And then I have another pair of socks that I want to make for someone for Christmas. But I really just want to cast on a pair of socks using this. It has my favorite thing in it. Where's the little bit that I love the most? There's this little part in here. and it has that dark tealy green, those little patches, speckles there, and then this little dark bit up here on the gray and light blue background. It's just absolutely beautiful. And she asked if you know, I would be interested in a skein, and I said yes, absolutely. Oh, and there's even some like, there's some colors down here, some like peachy colors. Those are fun. And so she asked if she could send me something, and I said yes. So she picked for me, and I don't know if she could have picked any better. I'm really excited about these. They're just like sitting. I have a little hanging basket in the corner there, just of yarn that's for other projects or scraps or, you know, extras of what I'm working on kind of thing. And that's been sitting up there for a couple months, and I'm just waiting. Because I only like to really have one pair of socks on the needles at a time. The ones I'm working on now, I really just have a heel and then the foot to do, so it shouldn't take me too long if I actually sit down and work on them, but I don't want to sit down and work on them, so I'll just wait for inspiration. But I'm not casting these on until I'm done with those, but I really want to. And another thing that I can show you is I did get a new needle case, because I recently purchased a set of Chow Glue interchangeable. I got the small set and the minis, so the teeny tiny ones. And I'm just really not a fan of the cases that they came in. The ones for the little ones are fine because it's just this little pouch, which I've actually just, I just popped the whole pouch in here. But I did get a new case for the other needles because I just, there was a pocket on the front, and you need stuff from, it just didn't work. So I got a new one, and this is from Knit Picks. They have a bunch of different kind of colors of vinyl case, and it zips all the way around, and then you have, it doesn't look like there's very much in there, but you have a big zipper on one side, and then space for needles. On this side, it's fabric, so I just put my little tightening things, my T-pins over here, and then there's a whole nother side. Whoop, let's not make those fall out. A whole nother side, and then another zipper part. So in here is where I have my little minis. But I could put, I have Addies as well they could all fit in here. But I like having them separate. So Chow Glues can go in here, and Chow Glues can go in here. Addies can stay in their old case. But yeah, so if you are looking for some needle storage, these ones are great. And I think it was, I think I actually got it for free because they do gift. If you spend over a certain amount, you can get a gift. They sometimes do things like that. And I think that's where I got this. But regular price, I think it's a $15 or $20 American. So very reasonable and very nice. I really like it. I think that's it for knitting stuff for now. Like I said, I didn't want to do absolutely everything. I'll just show you things as I'm working on them. I showed you everything that I finished, so that is that. For kind of life stuff, we actually are going away, not very far, but we're going away for 8 nights, the end of September to beginning of October. Yeah, so what would have been Knit City weekend, we are going to be gone. We go up to a lake. It's about 2 hours away from here, and they have little rustic cabins, and it's just a small little private place. And we tried to go up in April. We booked Easter long weekend, I think for 4 or 5 nights, for all of our birthdays, and we were going to bring up a ham and have Easter dinner up there and stuff like that. But then there was a pandemic, and Yeah, that just didn't happen. It was right at the very start too, so everyone was very anxious, and the road that goes up the mountain to the lake actually got closed because the people who owned the road didn't want visitors. Like, this was right at the beginning, so everyone was like lockdown, stay at home kind of vibe. Now things have opened up a little bit more, which is nice. So we are taking our vacation, and we doubled it because when we'd originally planned it, we were going to do a little, 2 little ones, kind of one in spring and then one in the fall. Since we didn't get to do the one in spring, I was like, well, we got our deposit back and everything, and as a credit, I was like, yeah, we come up all the time, so credit's fine. So we actually just made this time extra long, and it's very exciting because we haven't had an actual, like, I'd say we haven't had a vacation longer than, a long weekend together since the last time we went to Blue Lake, or the last time we had an extended stay there, which was our honeymoon, or maybe the year after. We spent a week up there. It's been a couple years for sure. So, and it's been a really hard spring and summer. So we're all just very excited to take a break. There is some things happening while I'm up there, which was poor planning on my part, but not really. But there are going to be some things happening October, like Knit City weekend-ish. So if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, you should, if you're interested in the exciting things that we have coming up. I will have my we're going to be pretty unplugged for the most part, but they do have cell service, so I'll be slightly on the interwebs for a couple days, but for the most part, we're just going to shut our phones off and just be in nature. I also learned how to ride a dirt bike. It's kind of a dirt bike. It's kind of a road bike. It's a little tiny. It's called a CT90. Basically, it's what Honda came out with to get chickens onto bikes. So Justin has a dirt bike that he rides, and I've never wanted to try it just because it's so big and it's heavy. And this one, he's always kind of wanted one, but he bought it because he thought it would be good for me to learn on. And I took it out last weekend to his parents' house, and he kind of, fixed up the stuff that needed to be fixed, and then I took it around the cul-de-sac. It was really fun. It's like 50 years old. It's a 69, and it's low to the ground, and it's light, so I can put both my feet on the ground, and it doesn't have a clutch, so I don't have to worry about that, because I also don't know how to drive stick. So that was what was throwing me off a lot as well about his dirt bike, is I have this thing that I've never done before, and I have to do this other thing that I've never done before. So that was very overwhelming. This was not overwhelming. It was really easy, and it felt like being in a little go-kart, except on a bike. It was awesome. So we're gonna bring some bikes up, and they have some just little dirt roads that we can go on and stuff. It's a road bike and a scooter, but you need your license to drive it on you need a motorcycle license to drive it on the road, which I don't have. And I wouldn't drive it on the road in the town that I'm in anyways. If I lived in a smaller community, I totally would, but not here because it would be too scary. So that's what's coming up in the next couple weeks here. We have so many things planned, and I'm so excited for for Pip and Pin. I really am. Katie and I have been working really hard to set things up for this fall. And, you know, after being quiet for not being quiet, but like, you know, things kind of slowed down in the spring and summer, and we didn't really release a lot or do a lot. I mean, I podcasted regularly, so that was really good. But other than that, we didn't really come out with a lot of new stuff. That's gonna change because we've been leading up to this fall and winter, and like we're going all the way through to next spring pretty much. We're set. And I'm really excited about some of the new things that we're going to be doing, and the new ways we're going to be presenting things a little bit. If you have purchased our cat bells pattern, you will notice that it's different than our other patterns. We have a new pattern layout. We're working on a new website. We have our new newsletter, which is going to be, I think, a really good tool for us to share with you kind of what we're working on. Yeah, just lots of stuff. Fall is my jam. I feel really good about, I just feel really great about what's coming up, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Because that's kind of why I do what I do, is I really love designing, because I get to make what I like to make. That's kind of my philosophy when I design, is what do I want in my wardrobe? What do I want in you know, sorry, I just got an email pop up. You know, what do I want to wear, and what do I need in my wardrobe? And then creating that, and then also getting to see what you guys make with it, what you do with it, what colors are you using, what yarns, what modifications are you making, and seeing other people knit the things that I design and be really excited about what they've created, is why I do what I do. And I that's my favorite part, is seeing how excited you guys get about your own knitting. It's magical. I love it. Can you tell that I've missed you? Because I have. Anyway, so yes, I've missed you. I'm happy to be back. Please check out our Ravelry group for the hand knits, knit along. Also our newsletter. If you haven't already, you can sign up for that and get a copy of our Rainforest Knits ebook. Yeah, and I will hopefully be able to film an episode next week. I really hope so, because if I don't, then it will be another couple weeks, because I'll be gone, and I'm definitely not going to film anything while I'm in the wilderness. So hopefully I'll see you Wednesday or Thursday. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful rest of your day. See you soon. Bye.